It's the Church of Jesus Christ.
I think our military today is as weak as it has been in my lifetime, and it's declined deliberately because of the policies of the current administration. It has declined significantly, and remember that the mission of the military is to win the nation's wars. It has no other mission.
The United States military is the most powerful military in the world. However, in recent times, it has seemingly gone woke. It has spent significant time and attention on radical left-wing ideas like transgenderism, critical race theory, and DEI.
Well, unfortunately, sometimes we have political administrations that come in, and instead of seeing the military for what its real purpose is, they want to use it for sort of their social policy.
Diversity, equity, and inclusion sounds like a wonderful idea, but when you begin to unpack it, you realize that it actually works against us, even in race relations, rather than for us.
In 2021, Senator Marco Rubio and Congressman Chip Roy argued in an 18-page document that the White House's sustained assault fueled by woke virtue signaling is eroding the greatest source of security in the world.
I think the report from Senator Rubio and Congressman Roy is a very necessary and important step in revealing to the American people, right? Because the military works for the American people. The American people support the military, but it has to be a two-way street. And so this report was important for opening the American public's eyes to seeing exactly what's happening inside the military. I think in many ways, the American people still have this somewhat antiquated view of the military as sort of this last bastion of conservative, traditional American values, and that's no longer the case.
Individuals suffering from gender dysphoria are now free to serve in the military, thanks to an executive order by President Joe Biden, issued just hours after his inauguration. The military also provides time off for active service members to undergo sex change surgeries at taxpayer expense.
Douglas MacArthur said to the young men assembled at West Point in 1963 as he stood in the mess hall, "Your mission remains determined, fixed, inviolable. It is to win the nation's wars." That has not changed. And everything that our military does, short of going to war, should be focused on developing their skills and being ready when the time comes that they do have to go into battle. Unfortunately, today we are seeing a period where we're wasting a lot of time that should be used preparing for the ultimate battles. We're wasting a lot of time with things like critical race theory and inclusion and social justice and all of these things that contribute nothing to the readiness of our military. So I'm very concerned about it.
The U.S. Navy faced heavy backlash for a partnership with a drag queen influencer on social media to promote Navy recruitment. Active duty sailor Yeoman Second Class Joshua Kelly, whose alter ego is drag queen Harpy Daniels, was named the Navy's first digital ambassador.
I'm right up there with the big dogs. Girls, come on. Leave the saving of the world to the men? I don't think so.
Former Navy SEAL Robert O'Neill tweeted out in response, "All right, the U.S. Navy is now using an enlisted sailor drag queen as a recruiter. I'm done."
To understand what's happening in our military from the inside, I think it's important to first understand who generally comprises our military. Who are the people that, according to all surveys and statistics, are the people most likely to join the military? And according to every statistical survey I've seen, the people that are most likely to join the United States military are young males between the ages of 18 and 24, and this is important, those who identify as highly religious are significantly more likely to join the military than those who identify as non-religious. And that means that people of faith largely form the backbone of our military. And the problem that our military is facing is that it is no longer presenting that as an attractive option to young people. They're turning away at higher numbers than they ever have in decades. We're seeing one of the worst recruiting and retention crises in our nation's history.
The Biden administration's Chief of Naval Operations, Admiral Michael Gilday, decided in recent years to add Ibram X. Kendi's book, How to Be an Anti-Racist, one of the leading source books on critical race theory, to his list of recommended readings. To give an idea how radical Kendi's book is, one of its famous arguments is that capitalism is essentially racist, and that to truly be anti-racist, you have to be truly anti-capitalist.
When you put men or women or men and women into combat, what you'll find is when they get in actual combat, it's no longer about the oath that they took to the Constitution of the United States. That's why they serve, that's why they're there. But when the bullets start flying, they fight for each other. They fight for the man or the woman on the right and left, in front of them and back of them. That's what they fight for. Now, what do you do when you teach critical race theory? You set them down, you divide them up, and you say, all of you on this side of the room, you're white, you're the oppressors. And all of you on this side over here, you're the black or the brown, and you're the oppressed. These people and their generations before them have been oppressing you. You don't have a chance because these people and their predecessors abused you. Does that build unity? I don't know of any way that we could assess that builds the kind of unity. All it builds is division.
Another instance of the military going woke was during the COVID pandemic in 2020. The American military discharged service members who were not vaccinated, even though they claimed exemption for religious reasons.
It became painfully obvious. The United States Navy was blatantly violating the Constitution and federal law and just acting as if it had the unilateral authority to do, that it could create its own laws. And it didn't matter what Congress had said, that it was the United States Navy and whatever it said was the supreme law of the land. Well, guess what? That's not how it works in this country. People of faith are unwelcome in the military. Even if it's not the official position of the United States that people of faith need not apply, that's certainly the belief for many people serving in our military.
You know, when I look at today's military and understand I come from a family where my father served in World War II, my older brother served in Vietnam, I served 22 years. This was all about the oath that we took to support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America against all enemies, foreign and domestic. It was not about turning our military to some social experiment based upon a certain ideological agenda. And the reason why you see such a low number as far as recruiting and retaining our young men and women in the military, they didn't join the military to learn about proper pronouns. They didn't join the military to learn about cultural Marxism, that one group of people, because of their skin pigmentation, they are oppressors, and the other group of people, because of their skin pigmentation, they are oppressed. You could not have an effective fighting force if you're trying to separate and divide people in the foxhole. That is not going to be conducive.